really interesting piece of news coming out today from Rick Dollywall, who breaks it on Twitter on my feed. Anson Carter. He is apparently the one player who absolutely refused numerous interview requests from different radio stations to talk about the Sedin twins. And a lot of people are kind of sharing their opinions about this, let's just say. And I can totally see why. Anson Carter was a player who did benefit from having the Sedins on his line. The Sedins, they benefited from having him on their lines as well. The brother line, as it was dubbed back in 2005, 2006. And Anson Carter was one of those guys who a lot of people did see him as one of the best line mates the Sedins had at the time. Obviously, today, I'd say that it would be Alex Burrows. But Anson Carter was no slouch either. He got himself 33 goals, 22 assists for a total of 55 points. The Sedins in this year, they were pretty good themselves. Daniel Sedin got himself 20 goals and 70 points. Henrik Sedin got himself 57 assists, 75 points. The brother line was a great line to watch in this time frame, and Anson Carter was really supposed to be the next future piece going forward with the Sedins in their careers. Everybody loved the brother line, and things kind of got wonky when Anson Carter's 1-year contract expired with the Canucks. Now, Anson Carter was 31 at the time, and a lot of people did see him as a piece that would help the Sedins going forward, which is why people wanted him back. Obviously, he's a guy, he got 30 goals with the Sedins 1 year. Why would we not want him back for a next year? But contract talks with Anson Carter kind of didn't go well, because this guy wanted a little bit more than what the Canucks were pressing. It is reported that he wanted a 3-year, $9 million contract, so $3 million for an average annual value, but the Canucks offered him a 2-year deal at $1.8 million, which means that his total contract would have been $3.6 million. That was just over the amount of money that he wanted per year. And needless to say, he bailed. He didn't want to come back, and he said that the money kind of was an issue for him because it wasn't what he expected. He ended up going to Columbus. He got himself a $2.5 million contract over there, and the rest is history. Carter got traded to the Hurricanes at the end of this season, and the next season, he started playing in the Swiss League for Hockey Club Lugano. He got himself 8 points in 15 games. That was the last professional hockey game that he played. That was his career, and just 2 years after having a great season at 31 years of age with the Vancouver Canucks, he retires, takes a step back. He's doing other things now. He started his own record label. He's making movies. He's doing other things in life, which is awesome. That's pretty cool for him actually pursuing other things. But it's really interesting to me, the fact that he is the one player who absolutely refuses to talk about the Sedins. Just the one guy out there who, when people are asking him, yo, you want to just come onto our radio show for a little bit, talk about these two players that you played with. They had legendary careers, and you played with them for a season. It was a great season. Would you like to come onto our show and talk about him? And he said no every single time, and apparently he's very adamant on his stance of not talking about the Sedins. And needless to say, there's a lot of discussion going on online as to why it is like this. And according to many of these online opinions, it's not necessarily something that has only come up now, because it has apparently been something that people have been talking about for a while, how Anson Carter appears to be completely ignorant to the fact that the Sedins had anything to do with his success with the Canucks in 2006. According to some of these articles, some of these tweets, some of these opinions from people who have apparently heard things that he's said in the past, it doesn't really look good for the relationship between Anson Carter and the Vancouver Canucks, seeing as the Vancouver Canucks like to promote Anson Carter on their YouTube channel and everything like that as the guy who was with the brothers. This was the third member of the brother line, the Sedins and Anson Carter. These guys were a trio, and Anson Carter apparently himself doesn't like being defined as one of the products of the Sedin twins and their Sedinery, which eventually led to this idea that Anson Carter built upon himself, that he was really a good hockey player and the Canucks probably should have given him more money because he was just coming off of a career year in goals and he was great. But I'm not here to say that Anson Carter is a bad person. I'm not here to say that he's a bad player either. I mean, even before coming over to Vancouver, I did say that when he was in Vancouver, he was in his 30s, which means that he did play in the NHL a little bit earlier. I mean, seeing some of his other seasons with the Edmonton Oilers, 60 points, 28 goals, he was fairly good in terms of being able to put up points. So coming over to Vancouver, getting himself a career high in goals, 55 points on the brother line, it's kind of understandable to say, okay, he wanted money, sure. But of course, it's not fair to say that Anson Carter would have gotten 33 goals if he hadn't played with the Sedins. It's not fair to say that the Sedins were a product of Anson Carter. You could say that they were a product of anybody. Jason King, their first line mate. Trent Klatt. Alex Burrows. The Sedins only got 112 points because of Alex Burrows. No. And really, there isn't so much to talk about here. I just wanted to make a video talking just briefly about this quote-unquote issue, if you want to call it an issue, because obviously what it really boils down to is this guy who had a good NHL career, almost 700 games played in the league and over 200 goals, 400-something points. He had a good career, and he's entitled to believe whatever he wants. It's just that, personally, I think a lot of Vancouver fans wouldn't say that what he believes is right, but who cares? Who cares? And obviously, people are going to ask him about the Sedins, especially nowadays, because he's in that position where he was one of the moments in the Sedins' careers that really sparked up one of those discussions of who's the best line mate they've ever had. And they're retiring, so it's obvious that Trent Klatt, King, Burrows, Verbata are probably going to give comments about this. So, what gives, right? This is one guy out of a collection of many. This is the one guy who doesn't want to talk. So, yeah, it's just a weird situation right here. Just kind of wanted to make a video just giving my thoughts a little bit about it. And Anson Carter, he's probably got himself a good life right now. I mean, he's pursuing things that he wants. He's coming back to NHL media a little bit. He's easing his way back into there with some interviews and whatnot. But for the most part, he seems to be all right doing his own thing. And that's all that really matters, right? Right? Hope you guys enjoyed this video to Plus. That's like that Gaming. And bye.